Hey guys, today we'll try to understand user inputs and outputs. Yeah. So we'll try to learn how Python accepts the user inputs from a console and displays the output on the same console. Now, every computer application should have a provision to accept input from the user when it is running. Yeah. So that's the beauty. Yeah. This makes the application interactive. Why we require inputs is to make the program interactive with the end user. Yeah, depending on how it is developed, an application may accept the user input in the form of a text entered in a console, a graphical layout, or a web-based interface. Now, when I'm talking about user inputs, uh, so I'm talking about user input. Yes. What do you mean by user input? Okay. Uh, it is anything that accepts input from the end user to make the program uh, interactive. Yeah. Yes. Now, when I'm talking about inputs, Python provides two built-in functions for input. So there are built-in functions for input to read the input from the keyboard. So you have two built-in functions for input from the keyboard. So the first is input function. We'll see this. Yeah. And the second is raw input. Yes, we'll see both these functions as we go ahead. Now, what Python interpreter works in interactive and script mode, while the interactive mode is good for quick evaluation. It is less productive. For repeated execution of same set of instructions, scripted mode should be used. Let's try some simple Python script to start with. So if I say name equals to Nilesh, yeah, and CT equals to Mumbai. Yeah. And if I try to print, uh, hello, my name is comma name. Yeah. And print, I am from city. Yeah. Let's run this. Okay. It's running. So what it does is it is taking my name and it's taking my city and it is printing it with those two values. Now the program simply prints the values of the two variables in it. Yeah. If you run the program repeatedly, the same output will be displayed every time. So this, if I try to run it again, it will again give me the same input. Now to use the program for another name and city, suppose I want to add some another name and city and I want to change this output to suppose Rakesh from Chennai or Bangalore. Yeah. every time you need to assign different values. So if I need to change it and I need to add something else, I need to change the variable. Yeah. Now, here is where the input function comes into picture. Yeah. Where you keep on changing the variables. Obviously, you need some mechanism to assign different values to variable in the runtime. Yeah. While your program is running. So Python input function does the job. Yeah. How it could be done is I could have where variable equals to anything by the input function. So it will ask me for the input. Suppose I run this. See, it is asking me for an input. Yes, there is just anything. Eyes, can, analyze. Yes. So it could be anything that could be inputted. Yeah. Now, when the interpreter encounters input function, it waits for the user to enter data, as we have seen right now, from the standard input stream, like your keyboard. Now, the sequence of characters may be stored in a string variable for further use. Now, usually, any input that you take from from the input function, it is stored in a string variable. It is always stored in the form of a string. So even if you add a number, it will still store it in the form of a string. Yes. So input function. Start this. Let me put a input. So yes. Input function. Uh, so we are starting input function. So let's move on. So let's take the same example that we have seen earlier. Let's try to take an input here in the variable. So rather than putting the variable, I will try to put here the statement, add the statement as input. Let's see what happens. Again, I'll put as input and we'll try to run. So the first thing is a name. So I'll say Nilesh. And second input is the city. So I'll say Bombay. See, so it is printing my name and the city. Now, if I try to change, need to put another. I can do it right away. Rakesh, Bangalore. Yeah. Now, when you run, we'll find cursors waiting for those inputs. Now, the variables are not assigned any specific values. You see here, we have assigned an input where it is taking a new input and assigning it directly. Yeah. So every time you run, different values can be inputted. So your program has become truly interactive. Yeah. So inside the input function, you may give a prompt. So this particular function above, what I can do is I give a prompt in input. I'll say, enter your name. Yes. And here I'll say, enter your city. So this is the prompt that I have given. So whenever I try to run this program, it is asking me to enter a name. So this will be very interactive. It is telling me what I have to enter at that input. Yes. Here it is. Yes. So when you run that program, displays the prompt message, basically helping the user what to enter. Yes, pretty simple. Now let's go to raw input. I guess this is clear enough wherein we can understand what do you mean by input. It's basically allows you to input something in a very interactive way. Now, raw input function works similar to input. It is same as input, and nothing different. Yeah. Here only this function was available. This function was available in Python 2.7, and now it is renamed to input. Yes. In Python 3.6. Pretty clear? So it is just the version different. So if I try to run the same program which we have run over here with input, and I try to put here as raw underscore input and raw underscore input. The same thing, nothing different. I feel it should run, but let's see. No, because it's not defined. So raw input was the previous version. Yeah. So that's why it is not taking it over here. Yeah. So raw input you really need to understand is a version, previous version. So this particular raw input will not work with the latest version. As I said earlier, let's have some other examples of input as well, where I have told you how it works in numeric input, where you have a numeric input. Yes. How does Python works over here? So in numeric input, if I try to let's write the program for height and width. So I have this program which says width. I have to input the width of a rectangle, probably, or a square, anything. Height of the square or rectangle, and then I have to print the area. Yeah. So what will happen? Let's see what happens. I enter 10 as width, 20 as height. It is giving me an error. Why it is giving me an error? Can't multiply sequence by non-list or type str. So as I said earlier, input function always stores values in the form of string. Yes. So in order to do this kind of multiplication, we need to convert it to, this is a type error, right? You can see this. So you need to cast it. Cast it so that it takes the input as int. Yeah, integer. So the same thing which we wrote earlier, we'll try to convert width and height to int. If we remember type casting, which we have talked about earlier. So I'll say is equal to int of width. Yes. Same way, we'll type height is equal to int of height. So what we are doing here is we are converting the string to integer and then multiplying them. This way we should be able to display the area. Let's see whether it prints the area this time. So I'm taking the width as 10, height as 20. Yes, we got the area this time because we have converted both the string to an integer. So this is the thing you need to remember to overcome the problem. We shall use int or a float, whichever is useful at that point of time. Yeah. So that is what we discussed about in the type casting. Yeah. Now You can also combine this. So suppose I've written it this way, I can combine this int part over here as well while taking the input. So I can say int and close this bracket. So I'll not require this command again. And I'll do the same for the width. Let's see if it works. So I've combined both the statements so that I do not need to need to write it again. So let's see if it's work. 10, 20. Yeah, that's way it works very well. I guess this is pretty clear. Same way, this could be done for a float variable. The yeah, we can take the value as I have a program where you have the amount as a float. We have done for integer value. Same way I'm doing it for float. And let's see if it calculates the interest. Let's see, I have 20,000, yes, as the amount and the rate of interest as 8%. See this? So it is giving me the answer in the form of a float. Right? So let me put some odd figures here. So we can see the, again putting 20,000, I'll put the value as 8.3. Yeah, it is still giving me that interest. Yeah. So this is how you can use int and float to convert your string. And just for your reference, I have given you the raw input part, which was available previous to the version in 2.7. Yeah, right now it will not run because I am having the latest version. Yes, so it is giving me the error as name error because it will not find this function. Yeah, because it has been changed to the function as input. Yeah, same way as we have input, we have the function to output your value, which we have been seeing since a long time. That is called print. Yeah. So print, okay, you put it in text. Yeah. So print function is a built-in function. It is mostly or frequently used function that displays value from an expression. Yeah. So any number of Python expressions can be there inside the parenthesis. They can they must be separated by a comma symbol. So each item in the list may be any Python object or a valid Python expression. Yeah. So it is used in Python to display output. Yes. Now how it does that? Let's see a small example. We have been seeing print command for a long time now. So let's for a simple example, if I say A equals to hello world, yeah, I say B equals to 100, C equals to 23.47, D equals to 3 plus 6J, which is a complex number. Yeah. Now I can print anything. I can say print uh, message, yeah, A. Yeah. So I need to put A. Yeah, I can print that. Of Let me print everything. Let I say print B, comma C, comma B minus C. Yeah, I can have multiple variables, as I said earlier, separated by a comma. Yes, I can have print an expression like power of 100 comma 0.5 comma power of c comma 2. Could be anything. I'm just turning it. See this? So it is giving me all the outputs as I require. As I'm expecting the uh, particular thing to work with. Yeah. I can use, if there are multiple comma separated objects in print function, parentheses, the values are separated by a white space. So you see this being separated by a white space here. Yeah. If there are multiple values, if you see B comma C, it is printing with a space in between, but I can change the separator. How I can do this is, suppose I have city as Mumbai, yeah, state as Maharashtra, yes, and country is equals to India, yeah. Now, if I try to print this, you'll see it will automatically print a space in between. So if I print city, comma, state, comma, country. Yes. And if I try to do it by putting a separator, this is how you put a separator. Yeah. See the difference between both of these prints. So the first one, by default, there is a space in between. Whereas if I specify the separator, it will put the commas, which I have added here. So I can have multiple separate. I can have anything as a separator. So I can have a pipeline symbol. Yeah. Let's see if it runs that way. Yeah, you can see there is a pipeline symbol between the city, state, and country. Yeah. Now the print function issues a new line character at the end by default. Yes. Now it's a new line character by in the end by default. Let me show you that. So if I say print city, yeah, and city, I'll say print state. Keep the state as it is. I'll remove other things. So by default, it has a enter, or you can say new line character. What is the new line character? The new line character is mentioned like /n. So it will take the other statement to the new line. Yeah. So automatically, if I try to print city and then state will be printed on the new line. So let's see this. Yes, you can see this. City is printed on one line and state is automatically printed on the next line. But if you want to skip that particular new line character, you want city and state on the same line, then I need to end this with a space or anything that you want, and say enter. You find city and state coming on the same. So this is how you input or output your data on Python. And hope this is very self-explanatory in detail so that you can use it during your program. Thank you so much.